those things you don't necessarily talk about it. You either avoid them or you try to deal with them when they occur. And when you try to deal with them when they occur, it's, you tend to, mask it, right? You try to act normal. You try to act as if there is no problem, but there is a problem, you're struggling. And
I always do that.
and at some point, then you can't do it anymore, and then things start to bubble up, and people can see that there's something going on. But you don't talk about it. But if people know you're autistic and there's certain things that you have difficulty with or you can't do, or they can accept that when you say no, it's no. I can't do this right now. They don't start questioning why is that.
Sawtooth, thank you so much for joining me here. Thank you so much, man. I asked you so many times to join me, and then this message came out of nowhere. Like, well, if you want to talk about all of this, it was a very long message.
Took some time to make it.
I think he tried not to tell me his whole life, but it felt like it a little bit. So, and I'm super grateful. It was like, okay, where did this come from? It was amazing.
Thanks for having me.
So, well, let me introduce you quick. I mean, who don't, I mean, maybe there are some folks who don't know who you are, so you never know. So you became a member of the EA Creator Network. Back then it was EA the Game Changer program, right? And you started with being a community leader for Battlefield. I think you were first a moderator for Facebook. Then you started hosting the F&B event, right? And you were a moderator of multiple forums, I think, even. And you had a full-time job, actually, the whole time on the side, right? Can you tell in your own words, quick, what is your background there? How did it get started, basically?
Yeah. So I got involved in Battlefield, like early Battlefield 4. Jeff Braddock, I was very active on the Battlefield forum, and Jeff Braddock was asking for people who want to do more in the Battlefield community. And I responded to that, and that's how I got into like a very early form of Game Changers. Like there were multiple tiers, like you had the Westies that are like top tier, and you had people like me at the bottom. And but nothing really came out of that. And so I asked Jeff, is there something else I could do? I really want to get involved. And that's how I got involved in the Battlefield forums. That was like start of Battlefield 1. And at that time, I was also involved in the Battlefield Facebook groups. And I did that for a while. Then I got involved in Friday Night Battlefield. I took over from Lee Williams. He was doing that for PlayStation 4 in Europe. And that's the things that I've done. And I quit the Battlefield forums because just was too much.
We will get to this. I mean, this is a long story. You just break this down like, well, I did this and that. But I mean, there happened a lot of stuff in between. And this is what we want to talk about, right? We want to talk about what happened in between. Maybe let's start from the beginning. Why did you even want to do more for the Battlefield community in the first place? I think I would like to know that. What was your motivation before you even talked to Jeff Braddock about like, I want to do more? Why did you want to do more? Where did this drive come from, basically?
Yeah, well, I think it's a bit in my nature. I've always had that. I've always done like I used to be like in this powerlifting club. I did that for 10 years, and I just got involved into like managing it. And I always like, try to improve things, make it better and more fun for everyone, and get it organized, things like that. And after that, I went into Airsoft, and basically that's the same thing what happened there. That's also where I got my my handle, Sawtooth. And then I got into Battlefield, and some same thing happened there. I really want to get involved with things and make it more fun for people. And so initially I was in this platoon or clan, gaming clan, Battlefield gaming clan, and that didn't sit right. So I started my own, and always like trying to be the one trying to make things better. And I have that passion, I think, to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Can you explain us like basically what were your daily to-dos when you started with wait, what was the first thing again? You started with moderating in forums.
Yeah.
What were your daily to-dos basically? What did you do, and how much time did you invest doing what you did?
Yeah, a lot.
I believe that.
Yeah. I was a moderator, so basically you scour the forums to see what people are talking about, and check if they're abiding to the rules and to the EA code of conduct, and but also like gathering feedback, seeing what people are saying about the games, are there issues that they're facing, are there new ideas, and stuff like that. And we collected that and put that into reports for Jeff Braddock to relay back to the studio. And so you just spend a lot of time going through the forums, and it's basically I did that in my off time, working through during the day, playing after work, and then a couple of hours on the forums in between, right? So that's that's what I did.
Sounds like a lot of stress, actually, right?
If it's just that, then it's you have to deal with a lot of people who are like angry, frustrated, trolling, or just annoying, and that's part of the job, basically. But yeah, as long as you're doing one thing, it's manageable. But yeah, obviously, that's a bit where that leader, community leader thing comes in. I don't see myself as a community leader. I think it's more like, you're more like a familiar face in the community, and people, know you and know what you do. And
did others see you as a community leader?
Yeah, but people say that, I suppose, but yeah, I don't see myself that way, to be honest. No, I think it's just I'm trying to be involved in a lot of things, and try to be a good example for people, and try to help people wherever I can. I think that's what motivates me the most. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if that's considered leadership, I don't know. Yeah, I suppose so.
You said, sorry, I had to figure out like where do we go next? You said at a certain point there were big changes happening within the Battlefield forums, and you didn't like them really. Can we talk? Can we even talk about that, or is that like?
No, that's okay. We can talk about that. So the forums, with Battlefield 1 forums changed from Battlelog to a new forum. That was one thing that changed, and not everyone was too happy about that. But another thing is that at some point there was this change in the people from EA who managed the forums, and there was a lot of changes there. And at one point, I just didn't really like where it was going. It was like too soft, maybe. There's people could do whatever they want, and there was like very little that was done about that, and it was a lot stricter before. So there were a lot of trolls and things like that, and there was a big change there, and I just didn't like doing that anymore. And at that time, I also got involved in other things, so it's also a bit time management, I suppose.
Okay. You said you're autistic, and I just would like to know for now, how did being autistic affect the work and working like as a community leader, even though you say you're not a community leader? I'm just saying you're a community leader. You were a community leader. How did that affect your work? Like, how was it more challenging in a way for you?
At that time I didn't know I was autistic. I only learned that like 1.5 years ago. But I what they call high functioning autist. So that doesn't mean that I'm super smart or anything like that. It's just that you don't really see and notice that I'm autistic. Things happen more on the inside than that you see on the outside. I think things that really influence me is definitely that conflict situations, and if people don't like me or are annoyed by what I say or don't understand me, that's super frustrating for me. So that hits really hard, and I have sleepless nights sometimes if something bad happens, and that's really difficult for me, and that's also very difficult if you're like a moderator, or if you're an admin in a Facebook group, or if you're very active on Twitter, then
at that point when you left actually all the community work basically before you even found out that you are autistic, right?
No, I already knew at that point. It's more or less, coincided.
Yeah. Did you ever talk to Jeff Braddock, for example, about it? Did you tell anyone?
No, because it wasn't really, it wasn't really Jeff's thing at that point. But it was like more my own decision. It's I just decided for myself that
it's nobody's business. I was just wondering if in a way, if you would have talked to anyone about it, if that would have helped. I don't know if that would have helped anything. They could have take the pressure off you in a way or whatever.
I know what you mean. There is no like support net or something like that. No, there's nothing you can fall back on. And especially at that time, because I wasn't even involved in anything official besides Friday Night Battlefield.
Yeah.
Friday Night Battlefield wasn't like a semi-official, EA sanctioned event, which was like the project leaders from that were EA staff. So it was semi-official. Okay. But there is not really. There's not really anyone that you can talk to. Things aren't going very well. Could I talk to someone, or that's not really something that's there. At least not that I'm aware of. I don't know if maybe EA Creator Network. I don't know if they have something like that. I'm not part of that, by the way. But I don't know if they have something like that. But no, that's not something that's anywhere in gaming, as far as I know. There's no support for mental support or something like that. No, not that I'm aware of.
Speaking of which, F&B, how I am, as I heard or understood you, like when you came in and took over the role for F&B, you did a lot of changes, right? And you did a lot of advertisement basically on your behalf for F&B and got the server up and running, right? What were the biggest changes you implemented? And how much work was it actually doing this role? Because I see here are other people actually in the chat. I think Kelly was here, right? Other who are organizing actually F&B. And I think people take it for granted what you guys are doing. So I will really want to lay out right now, like, how does it look like? What are you doing? How much time does it take? How much effort do you have to put in there?
Yeah. Yeah. So your first question, what did I change? Like I said at the beginning, I'm someone who really, wants to make things better and for everyone and fun, and try to optimize things. And so that's what I did when I started Friday Night Battlefield for PlayStation 4 Europe. So the first thing I did was I promote the hell out of it. Each week I just go on Facebook, Twitter, PlayStation community groups and stuff like that. I would post everywhere, that the event takes place and where you can find me and stuff like that. And it started doing challenges and stuff like that. And that's how the ball got rolling. And I was doing that, and I was doing that a lot more than the other guys were doing. So yeah, it didn't really take long before we had like super filled servers each time. I even had difficulty getting into the server each Friday because it was always full with a queue of 10. And yeah, so that's how we started, and it didn't really take long before I asked some people to help me out with that. And but yeah, we started doing those events, and in Battlefield 1, we managed to get these Friday Night Battlefield dog tags, which was really super fun. That was amazing. And so we started doing those challenges to win those dog tags, and that was like really a lot of work to manage that. You start by making the flyer, think about the assignment, and making the flyer, just post it everywhere, answering questions.
Handling the giveaways, handling the codes you organized, right?
So during the event, try to coordinate a little bit, to make sure that everyone has a fair chance, and also make sure that it doesn't go too fast, like not like in the first 10 minutes all people already earned a dog tag or something like that. So there's a lot of things involved during the event, before the event, after the event. It took like, I don't know, maybe 8 hours out of my week each week.
Wow.
Yeah, at least.
Mm-hmm. You know
and
what?
That was during Battlefield 1, right? So
yeah,
that was different than in Battlefield 5.
Okay, I have another question, but because you said it, how was it different to Battlefield 5?
Sorry, how it was different? Yeah,
how
because,
was it different?
Yeah, because there was no dog tag, so the assignments were a little bit more for fun than actually earning something. Because in Battlefield 1, you really saw people trying to earn a dog tag, and they had enjoyed it. It was fun doing that. We tried to come up with different fun assignments each week, and and also try to take seasonal events into account, like Christmas or Halloween or Valentine's Day and stuff like that. So that was super easy doing that in Battlefield 1. We could do it in Battlefield 1. In Battlefield 5, we just couldn't do it because there was no reward. So that wasn't the same, and I didn't really have control over the server, and a lot of things that were a lot more difficult than in Battlefield 1. And another thing is that I just didn't enjoy the game. I think that was also a big part for me. Yeah.
Quick question in between. I didn't plan this, but if you look now for, FNB is nothing else than actually a community event, right? And there are lots of other communities out there who are doing event on their own, with their own people. What can you give a community leader who maybe just starts out with this new platoon and wants to do a community event? Like, what should he be? How can he make his community event successful in a way so people really enjoy it? Because it's about fun, right?
I would say begin with promoting the hell out of it. Just everywhere you go, have people help you and promote it as much as you can. So that will help you, make people learn about the event and people actually showing up, right?
Okay.
And then you have to retain those people. You want to have them come back next time. So you also have to make it fun. So and I think that's one of the more difficult things, making it fun, and the game has to help you with that. And I think Battlefield 5 just couldn't really cut it in that sense. And I think Battlefield 1, it was easier. Part of because the reward was big part of the event, I think, and that was big part of the appeal. But there were also a lot of, platoons that, came to life during the event. I think that was really cool to see that a lot of people, come together and start a group of people to play with and find friends. I think that was really amazing. And I think that was one of the things that was really missing in Battlefield 5. And I think that's looking at Portal. I think that's what's great about Portal. If we would have had Portal in Battlefield 5 or Battlefield 1, that would have been so cool. Could have done such great events with Portal. So I think that's one of the great things about Portal. Sure, for Friday Night Battlefield, that's going to be a God's gift, basically.
All right, I guess we have to jump. We have to adjust a little bit here. I wanted to go through your personal story first, but now we're already there. This Portal. No, it's cool.
Whatever you want.
Let's be spontaneous. If you think about creating community events now on Portal, how do you see? What opportunities do you see? How you can make events even better now? On all the kinds of layers, like PR, like setting up the servers, including the community, what kinds of modes, do you see will be created? Stuff like this. Yeah, like what comes to your mind when you think of Portal with all the experience you gained, through the last years? What opportunities do you see basically now?
Yeah, so for now, I think Portal mainly is going to be great to create different experiences, to have like really fun and crazy and really different experiences, like Halloween. You could do really crazy things during Halloween, and all the seasonal events. It's just great, but you have so much control over whatever you can think of, right? So there's a lot of opportunities there. I think one of the things that might be missing is like the link to the community. I don't know how or if there will be anything community related in Battlefield at all, like platoons or stuff like that. We don't know. I don't know if there's going to be like a community hub like we had Battlelog, stuff like that. I have no idea. So I think that's something that would be really important if they would be able to, facilitate that. But otherwise, it's just, coming up with crazy ideas for events. I think that's, for the server settings and just.
What's the craziest you can think of? Also, you guys in chat, what's the craziest you can think of? And then the next question, what's the first thing you will actually create?
Yeah, well, for me, the crazy things, and I think that's also, the risk of having Portal for, using it for anything other than events, that you can do things like you don't have any guns, you just have a grenade, and there's only 10 people in your team and 100 people on the other team, and you think, what the fuck's going on here, right? Yeah, so there's a risk that you just do really stupid shit. Really stupid settings.
Is that a risk? Is it a risk?
Absolutely.
Why?
Yeah, you can really screw things up for people joining it, and so there's a risk that you make it really lopsided, that is fun for one side and not for the other side. That's really big problem, I think, that could happen. But yeah, you'll find that out fast enough. Definitely, if you're doing an event, you get feedback. Trust me. We had that as well when we were doing Friday Night Battlefield and Battlefield 1, and we had these events. We always had people complaining that it was too hard, or somehow it's too easy, and honestly, I don't like this, and always have that. But if people keep coming back, you're doing something right, and that's the whole.
Quick back to why is it not good, what you said in the first place. And I think, isn't it like, as long as people do a proper description of their server, like let's say 127 tuk-tuks, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's possible, but let's say it is possible, okay? I'm not sure. Maybe it is possible. I have no idea. So let's say 120 only tuk-tuks, okay, server, and 1 grenade or whatever. I mean, as long as you can see what's on the server immediately from the description in the main title, wouldn't it be okay for you?
Oh, I'm not against it. I definitely like the whole concept of Portal, but there's 3 parts, there's 3 experiences in Battlefield, and Portal is just one of them.
Yes.
They all have to be like good and fun and for everyone. And I think the risk of Portal is there is so many settings that you could do, and you have that logic editor where you can do even crazier things.
Right.
How the hell are you going to make a good description of what you're actually offering? And,
okay, I see. Because there's so many options. I see what your point. I see your point.
Yeah, there's certain things that you can probably, put in a good description on. I think they're working with tags that also give you a good idea of what you can expect. But yeah, there is a risk that you're going to join a server and you have no idea what's going on, and you're not going to get that from the description. I think that's a risk, and that's part of what Portal offers, I guess. And that's why I feel that all-out warfare has to be a good alternative. It has to be. I feel it's a little bit a hollow shell as it is right now, and it should be fulfilling and diverse. There has to be enough to offer people, and not just right now there's just Conquest and Breakthrough as far as we know. But it does offer like a pure 2042 experience, like how DICE envisioned Battlefield 2042. That's what they're offering there, and it's only like 2 game modes. I'm like, where are the other game modes? Like Battlefield 4 had like 13 game modes. And almost every Battlefield had like at least 10 game modes. And now we got 2. And yeah, that's something that.
So they definitely should bring more game modes, even though, I mean, even if there is not at launch, but they should bring like Rush, TDM, Domination, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, because it just gives you like a persistent and a consistent experience. You know what to expect. You don't have to look at descriptions of okay, what can I expect? No, you know what you can expect.
Yeah.
I think that's that's what you also want. There's like I think Battlefield 1 had like 15 million copies sold, maybe even more. So the community is like 10,000, maybe 100,000 people are active in in social media and communities, but there's like 50 million more people who play Battlefield who aren't active in these communities, and they just boot up their PC or their console and they want to play, right? Just quick play, and I like to play Domination, or I like to play Conquest or whatever. I don't want to go into Portal and find out and look at all the descriptions. Okay, what the hell am I joining here, right? So yeah, that's one of the issues that I see in the way they're doing it right now.
Guys,
at least that's what I think they're doing.
No, I totally agree. I mean, we need definitely more. We definitely more modes. I just hope they will. Well, I hope they will give us more information on that, what's coming next. Also, is that another, what are your biggest concerns right now? Let's dig into that. What are your biggest concerns right now with what you know? Because, I mean, like Kelly, are you still here? Kelly said it before on Twitter, like, you are basically like how did she say, like Wikipedia for Battlefield? Right? So tell us.
That's definitely not true.
What?
No, I
Let's
honestly,
just say it's
true. No, I hate to say it, but if there is a Wikipedia about for Battlefield, that's Danny on PC.
Danny on PC.
You can love him or hate him, but he really knows a lot about the game. But no, the things to be honest, I'm less excited as I was before, and that's part because the difference between All Out Warfare and Portal. Hazard Zone is also not, it's just not my thing, and so I'm a bit concerned about what I'm buying into, right? So that's one of the things I'm personally concerned about. And the differences between All Out Warfare, or maybe what's missing in All Out Warfare. The thing I'm really excited about is the setting, because I really love the modern or like near future setting. I like to play that kind of first person shooter style game, and so that's definitely something I'm excited about. I'm also a completionist, so I'm really I want to do all assignments and earn everything that's earnable in the game. That's really my thing. Sorry. And
That's okay.
so that's the things I'm really excited about to do. And but there's also some things I might be a little bit concerned about, how it's going to work out, the issues that people have with the specialists, for example. I personally, I don't really see it as such a huge issue. There's two aspects with specialists. One is that they all look alike. It doesn't even depend on which side you're playing at. And the other is the whole class discussion. The whole visibility aspect. I think primarily the spatial UI has to take care of that. Right, spatial UI has to make sure that you can see the difference between friend or foe, because a character model, with a game that has like all this character customization, you will never be able to keep telling apart which character model belongs to friend and which belongs to foe. That's bullshit. I know people say they can, but I don't believe that. So the UI will definitely be the primary thing that gives you an indication of if it's friend or foe, and the character models is a good second, but the UI has to take care of that, and they have to have good UI for that. And it isn't good right now. At least it wasn't in the beta. So that's another thing I'm really quite concerned about, is see how that's going to work out when you're actually playing for like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 20 hours. Mm-hmm. For the rest, and also like the year one content, because we haven't really talked about that. What can we expect for the rest of the year? We know we're getting season passes that will contain content. We have, I think it was like 22 weapons, and
is that enough, by the way? Do you think it's enough? I saw people complaining about like we only get like 20 weapons,
Yeah, well, personally, there has to be a good balance between I'm really what I find is important is like experience and diversity in the game. That you can do different things and use different things in the game, and it's if you only have like 2 weapons that look differently and behave differently, and that's it, and that's completely focused on the competitive aspect of the game, only winning and losing, right? But the game is so much more than the competitive aspects. It's an experience, right? You enjoy yourself just playing the game, and some people don't care about winning or losing, but I care if I don't care if like if I have like 10 guns that do exactly the same but they look different, because it's just fun having different guns, right? So there's also, it doesn't just have to be different games and different weapons that work differently. It's also cool to have different weapons that look differently, right? And that doesn't really matter if they if you have a couple of weapons that perform exactly the same. It's just fun, right? And 22 weapons, it's not much. I expect that weapons will be a big part of the season pass. So we'll probably get a lot of weapons, during the first year. So I at least I hope so.
I mean, they also, we can't forget they also need to have something to release later. You know, they can't give us like 40 weapons with a game. There has to come stuff over and over. And I mean, if you're honest, you start playing the game, it's not like you will be playing 22 weapons from the start in the first hour. No. You will start with one, you will play maybe the weapons through or whatever, but it will take you a while to get through that process as well, right? So I don't know, but I really can't tell, but it felt for me like I can it's okay for me personally, but I'm not sure if that's like a solid opinion, you know, whatsoever.
No, but you know, that's what I mean with like, only if you look at the competitive aspect, you know, you only need one mode, one map, one weapon, one vehicle, and that's it. No, it's, if it only is about winning or losing, that's it. You don't really need that much. But you know, it's a AAA FPS game. You know, you have to have some content, because otherwise people will get bored. Not everyone is like super competitive.
So you know, so how do you feel about the, also you in chat, how do you feel about the plus system? Did you like the plus system, and did you, when you played the, damn it, here's a fly, go away.
Yeah, I got something flying here as well. No, I liked it. Plus system was nice. Only thing, I just, you know, the customization outside the plus system was a little bit cumbersome. I think they changed that a lot right now, so it's quite different now. But yeah, I like to have a lot of attachments, and I think it's, you know, plus system is great because, you know, because you have like, you know, you can, there's limited options, right? You only have like 3 per category. So it's nice to be able to adapt like on the fly, and depending on the situation where you're in. I don't see that as an issue. I know some people do, but
I actually like it. And I felt most of the time actually I forgot it. Like when I hear people like, yeah, but now, you know, you are like a, you know, it's basically you Superman, you can change everything right now. But but to be honest, I mean, I'm in the fight right now, and most of the time I forget to change it.
You're also vulnerable. But you're also vulnerable.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
and that's you know, that's there has to be a trade-off with these things, right? If there is benefit in having the plus system, because, you know, you can change your ability to fight in certain situations, and, you know, you're a little bit more so you're a little bit more prepared, but also while changing, you're vulnerable. So there's a good balance there. You know, you have to be careful when you actually, you know, use the plus system. So that's a good thing. And I think there has to be, with a lot of these aspects, there has to be like balance. There has to be risk reward. You know, you have to if you utilize it, you get a reward, but if you do it at the wrong time, or you do it wrong, you get punished, you die or whatever.
Yes.
And you know, that's, you know, I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but I have that with the sliding mechanic as well, right? Sliding is a good mechanic, but no, there is no risk to it. You know, you can do it if you want. You can do it all the time. You're difficult to, you know, you're more agile. You can slide around corners, and you're more difficult to hit. You're a smaller target, but there is no downside to it, right? And I have a problem with that, because it's not really balanced in that sense. So people can abuse it all the time if they want. And yeah, personally, I don't think that's good for the game. No, because like I said, competitive aspect. Some people aren't that competitive; they just want to enjoy themselves. And there's people who are super competitive, sliding and jumping all over the place. You know.
I mean, we need to wait. I think a little bit about how the game will be now, because they changed the slide as well, right? They nerfed it a little bit.
You know, right? But that's with Portal and all that offer. Exactly. So with the weapons, we don't really know how it's going to work out, right? It's just wait and see. Yeah. But it's fun to talk about it. So, you know, think about it and talk about it, and, you know, talk about
tell
what
us
you
in
want
chat
to
also.
see.
Like, I would like to know, like, how did you like the slide in Battlefield 2042, or did you think it was overpowered? I think there are people going very different when it comes down to that. Like, me personally, I liked it. But I also thought when I was playing, like, oh, this could be kind of OP. But I personally liked it. Like it felt good,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah,
but
I know a
I
lot
s-
of
I
people
s-
like it.
I saw the discussion coming when I played the first time. I was like, oh, this will be something people will be talking about.
Yeah, but the way I look at it is, Battlefield is a more a strategic game than like a competitive game. So you can win without killing anyone. You can top scoreboard without killing anyone.
Yes.
Right. You can win, although the opponents have a lot more kills than you, just by taking flags. So there's a lot of strategy involved in Battlefield. It depends a little bit on the mode that you play, but there's a lot of strategy involved. So, but there is just seeping all these aspects of all these arena shooters where the competitive aspect of killing people, where it's important to kill people, is becoming more and more apparent. So there's a lot of like it's the slide mechanic, but a lot of these mechanics that are coming from these small scale arena shooters that are finding their way into these games, and that's great for the modes where killing is important, but it's not that great, I feel, for the game modes where killing is less important, where capturing flags is more important. And
I was just thinking of Hazard Zone, actually, because I mean, they said you can basically win the game without killing anyone, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you intrigued by Hazard Zone? Did you like what you saw, or was it like, no, not at all?
No, I'm not. I don't like the survival aspect of it. It's just not for me. And I want to just keep going back into the action and not worry about when I die it's all over. Right? That's not my type
well,
of
you
game.
can. I mean, if you have a squad, it could be that they actually get you back, right?
Yeah, but I'm more a solo player, to be honest. But no, but the thing is that bringing all these like offensive mechanics that are really like arena shooter type mechanics, where being fast, agile, and killing people is like the most important thing, is that people start playing like that, and with the risk of losing the game, because the focus isn't about killing people, the focus is about getting as many points as possible.
That's true.
And killing doesn't necessarily give you more points than capturing flags. And for game modes like Rush or Breakthrough, that's okay, because you're always like, it's linear, you're always facing each other, so killing does give you an advantage. But like game modes like Domination or like Conquest, it's not a good thing. And what you see, and you saw that in like Battlefield 5, Battlefield 1, even Battlefield 4, but mostly in Battlefield 1, the zerging. So people start rotating around the map, but because they're just chasing where the action is, they want to kill people, and they don't care about capturing flags. They just want to be there where they can kill people. So the team that focuses on capturing flags usually wins, and not the team that starts chasing people to kill people. And I think it's hard to to find a good balance in that. And DICE has been playing with that as well, with the scoring and putting more focus on killing or less and less on capturing flags. And they experiment with that a lot. But what you now see is that Battlefield is becoming an arena shooter style game in like a big open strategic FPS shooter. So it's getting it's becoming blended. And personally, I don't like that, but I think Battlefield should be more like a strategic shooter. But yeah, everyone has
it still is. It
on
has
that.
multiple sites right now, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, but that's what I mean with the slide mechanic. That's one of the examples, but there are other things. But that's one of the things that motivates people to be more aggressive and focus more on killing. And I think that's I personally don't like that. But yeah.
What about Breakthrough? I mean, Breakthrough is kind of that, right? And I feel like Breakthrough will be the mode in Battlefield 2042, at least on all out warfare. on the big maps,
conquest
right?
and breakthrough. Yeah.
And there you have this rush forward, right? This pushing. Is that something you're interested in?
Yeah. I actually like to change it around a lot. I like to play bigger modes, smaller modes, play infantry, play vehicles. I like to have like different
options,
experiences and different options, and sometimes just like playing conquest for a couple of weeks and then I change more towards TDM or domination, like small modes, and just depends on my mood and also what I'm working on. Because I'm a completionist, I'm also always working on assignments and stuff like that, and so that often requires me to play different mode, right? So so I like a good mix of different modes and play styles, and that's why I find it so important to have that in all-out warfare as well, and not just Portal. I think it's great. It's great for communities. It's great for events. It's great for PC players. But I think it's giving you a bit of a threshold. You have to step over a threshold to find what you want, and all of warfare, there is no threshold. You can choose whatever you wanted that is available, but I think the options you have there right now is just not enough, I feel.
Let's go back a little bit to talk about communities. When you and concerning, I would like to know first, in point of Portal. No, sorry. I need to go back to that. Like, how do you think EA or DICE should work? Like, is there another way to work with communities, like closer together in point of Portal or events? Like, is there a way that they could improve actually that, like, do certain challenges or I don't know. Do you see like a former, community leader working with them closely together? Do you see now other opportunities actually because of Portal, how they could work together?
Yeah, well, about about EA and DICE working with community, I think there is this whole EA creator network thing, which mainly focus on content creators, which is makes sense because that's where you can measure it's marketing, and you can measure the impact of investing in someone, and the retention that's coming from that. And with smaller communities or of different type of communities like Facebook groups and Discord, Reddit, stuff like that, that's a lot more difficult to measure the impact of that. So that's probably why they invest a lot less in that. So that's my opinion on the support that EA and DICE give towards communities.
Try to see it from another perspective. Let's say they would be interested in that, and I know what you're saying, and I know where you're getting at. But let's say their focus would be on, we want to build something where we build up our community leaders, and maybe we get some community leaders into the EA Creator Network even, and we build a structure for that. How would that look like?
Yeah, that's a very good question. We had a good working relationship with Jeff Braddock and Dan Mitri before him when I was doing these Facebook groups. And we got like promotional stuff, and sometimes we got some information right before it was released publicly. So that was nice because you could help your community with that. But I never really felt that there was like a good opportunity to be a voice for your community, because that's typically something that happens in the Game Changer program, and no one of us was part of that. But if you look at Portal, I think there should be a bit more support for events. I think that would be that would be something that would be really nice if they would be able to, help communities to, promote the events, but also like, like have events. How should I call it? Like event week or something like that, where they, showcase a lot of events and give people a chance to talk about their event and promote their event. And maybe another thing is, yeah, I don't know that, there's a lot of things you can do. In Battlefield 1, we had those dog tags, if you could do something like that, to support communities with in-game stuff, but I understand that's difficult because there's a lot of communities, a lot of like micro communities, but also like bigger communities. But where do you start? How do you do that? And it's, I don't know. It's difficult to answer, to be honest.
I was just thinking about it because I mean, many people, I don't know the number. I would actually like to know the numbers. Like, I mean, I don't know if most of the people aren't even on social media who actually are playing Battlefield. So let's say, what about the communities who are not using social media really? So you can't reach them, right? Do you think they should build an in-game structure? Maybe even integrate like a battle log integrated in the game so they have the chance to reach out to all the players in game in that way, Like, do you think that would be wise for them to do so? And what would they gain from that? If it makes sense.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think that was one of the changes I experienced when I just joined the Battlefield forums, was that there was like this move away from a central community support system, like Battlelog was. You had your platoons, you had your own page where you could do things. You had there was so much you could do. You had the forums, and it was all in one place. So that was awesome. That was just amazing. But then there was this shift to to all these third-party solutions. Move to have this separate app and have this Discord and whatnot. I don't know what all the stuff that they had, but nothing is like centralized anymore. And sorry, I know there's a reason why they do that. There's a good reason why they do that, but on the other hand, it doesn't help the game, and it doesn't help the people that play the game. And if you want to support communities and you want to support people, I think Portal is a good start for that. But I think it should be something like there should be community hub integration.
We don't even know if there's an option for platoons, right? I just realized.
We
right?
don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know so much. We don't know if there will be coming a spectator mode. What else do we know? Is there a server browser? Somebody said there's no server browser, right?
Yeah, there's a server browser. Well, at least in Portal. But I don't think there's one in Modern Warfare, which it makes sense, but still.
Okay.
But yeah, but if you look, what DICE has been doing, or EA, I don't know exactly who is driving this, but the whole platoon support and have user-generated content like emblems and stuff like that. They have been, structurally removing all these things from the game because they don't want that.
Why?
The server browser, they don't want that, just because it's cumbersome for them, and they want people to do quick play. They want people to do squad join. That's what they want to focus on. And I was surprised that the whole Portal came, because that goes so against what they've been doing all this time.
But isn't that like kind of it sounds like
Platoons has always also since Battlefield 1, platoons has been like a beta thing that wasn't even there at the start, and that's only added later on. And it's pretty clear that they just don't want to do those things. So and I think that's personally, I don't think that's good. So I really hope that they change direction and focus more on supporting communities within the game, platoon support and user-generated content support, and some sort of social hub in the game. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in the game itself. The game executable could be like web-based, but one central point where you can go to. And I sincerely hope that they will do that. But I'll have to wait and see.
Fire, I don't understand your question. Can you rephrase it in a question? He said, like, wait.
No one's talking about servers that we can play Battlefield again with all friends in the world without much lagging.
Battlefield Hardline was the last Battlefield that was only looking for full server. There was no problem to play on US server. Okay, so you want us to talk about the connection issues or the lagginess? Well, look,
I don't know much about that.
The reason I'm not talking about is we don't know till the game is out. I mean, we all had a problematic experience, I guess, a little bit in the Battlefield beta, but also it was a beta. So I don't see a reason really to talk about it now, because we need to wait how the game actually feels, right? And actually is then. Is there anything else? Is there anything else like? Well, what did you really like about the beta? What you saw? Like, what is the thing that excites you the most right now about Battlefield 2042 coming out? Like, what is something where you're really hyped about?
I'm super sensitive to setting, so I was so over the whole historical setting with Battlefield 5 already. What Battlefield 1 was, I really enjoyed Battlefield 1. It was like the highlight of I was super into Battlefield 4 before, and Battlefield 1 I was a little bit skeptical, but but it at the same time it was like the point where I really got involved in community related things. And saw a lot of platoons grow and stuff like that. So and got to learn so many people, and that that was great. And a lot of that just vanished in Battlefield 5. So that left really bitter aftertaste. And so that was one of the things. The other thing was that because I'm so sensitive to setting, I think setting is really important for me. And I really like this modern, present day or near future setting. That's what I just enjoy the most.
Does it freak you out that this could be our real future?
No.
I mean, it's not that far away right now, right?
No, but I think it's pretty realistic, to be honest.
Pretty realistic, right? That's what I mean.
But you got kids. I have a 19-year-old daughter, and I worry about her future for sure. But
that's a big topic. I'm actually even thinking about moving right now. Like, yeah. I mean, it will be crazy times. It will be crazy times. It definitely makes you think, and it's like, what will I tell my kids? Like 20 years ago, I played a game that actually, told us how the future will look like.
Predicted this world. Yeah.
Predicted this world.
Yeah. Well, who knows? No, but that's I really like that part of the game. The atmosphere and the modern style of it. And but the beta was the state wasn't that great of the beta, so I didn't even play that much because I was really focused on playing out the game at that time. But and I was going on holiday as well. But I enjoyed playing the beta, but I'm really anxious about playing the game as it's meant to be, right? The beta is just, you don't really know how close the beta is going to be to the final
What does
release,
it
so you
mean
keep that in
as
mind.
it's meant to be? What does it mean?
Because
I
there's
mean,
so many things missing in the beta, and you have to look past that. And there's a lot of people who were I should just say it, that were really saying that the game is shit and stuff like that. They didn't really like the game, but it's a beta. There was so many things missing. You have to keep that in mind and don't judge the game just by the beta. So but yeah, so I can look past that, and so I doesn't really bother me that the beta might have been crappy or whatever. There's a lot of things that were missing, so you're not seeing the game as it is intended to. So if the game is released, you're going to see the game as it was meant to be, right? So that's the complete game. That's all the features are in there, and you're going to play it as it was intended by DICE. And
I'm
that's
sorry, I'm
what I'm looking
laughing. I have to
forward to.
screenshot these
Don't
stupid
worry.
comments right now in the chat. It's just Gabytron, guys, you made me laugh right now. I screenshotted this. I will post this later. That's good ideas, definitely.
Yeah, Gabby really recognizes herself, or doesn't she?
And Travis, yeah, they're having a battle right now with the best ideas that are missing in the game,
but
being realistic.
Yeah, but so I'm looking forward to playing it. I'm less excited than I was before. I'm curious about how some things will pan out, how they will work out. I'm curious about how they're going to if the issues that I think might happen are actually going to happen, and if not, how they dealt with it to make sure that it didn't happen or won't happen, or right. So there's a lot of things I'm really curious about.
Good point.
Yeah.
Quick break. In point of communication, because how they deal with it. What do you hope to see? Like, look, for me, it doesn't matter if something, we talked this before about, how I view on things if something is going on, like I'm not a perfectionist. And what do you hope to see, like for everything that doesn't go right? And there will stuff go wrong with Battlefield 22. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Something will go wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not because of Battlefield. It's just because there will be issues. It's a game, that's okay. So, but what do you hope to see? How they deal with whatever issues they get, they have to deal with in point of communication with the community. Do you hope to see some changes, or what do you hope to see to improve?
Well, I'm in that sense, I'm really really into details and skeptical. But I usually take the good stuff for granted, and I'm sure a lot of stuff is going to be fine. I just try to see, okay, what are things that could go wrong, and what are potential issues that could arise, and how could you solve those. I focus on that a lot because it's some way it's in my nature, but it's also part of my job and my normal day-to-day job. So I tend to really look at that and talk about that. And yeah, I think a lot of issues are already mentioned. And I think they might not deal with certain things because it's how they envision the game. And so at some point you just have to say, okay, I can live with that, or I can't, and I just won't play the game. That's how it can go just as well. So it doesn't really have to be that there is certain issues for a group of players that they're going to have to fix or that they will fix. It's just it's their game. They're going to make it as they want it to be. They're going to obviously they want to make money, so they want to have as many people playing the game as possible, but yeah, you can't please everyone. And so I really hope that they're going to, put in some community features in there, like platoons, because I really don't see people just using Portal to join a server with their friends or do squad join or stuff like that, because that's going to be a pain.
Yeah.
I really hope that there is going to be platoon support.
I mean,
and I think that's one thing that I think they have to do. It's
yes.
I don't see it happening. I don't see it going well if they don't. At least for the people that are really community focused.
Yeah, people don't want to waste time on the menu. They want to play the game. That's, I mean, that's always that's always a good recipe for having fun.
Yeah, because Battlefield 5 squad join didn't work half the time, so that was a pain to begin with. But with platoon support, you could do so much more than just working off a friends list. It's yeah, I really see a lot of potential there. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what they actually do. And related to All Out Warfare, I really hope that they're going to add some more modes to All Out Warfare. So have a little bit more diversity, so people have some more things to choose from.
So I have a weird question, but I mean, we're always talking about what can DICE EA do for us? What do you think could we do for EA DICE, like as community leaders, as communities? What could we do for them to help them in a way, make the experience for look, I'm not talking about buying stuff. I'm talking about making the experience for players better as community leaders or communities. Let's say we get the tools. Yeah, leave Reddit alone. That's a good tip.
It's for them, player retention is just important as it is for communities. They want to have people come back to their games, and I think communities has always been like a good starting point or a good point for people to get more involved into the game. That's how I started, right? So I initially joined a platoon, and that's how I really got involved in the game and communities. And that's something that creates like a lot of support for your game. And so if you have the right tools to do that, you can grow like really large communities and really make them loyal to your game. Obviously the game has to be fun, but there has to be more to it than just booting up the game and playing. And a lot of people just do that with Discord and maybe WhatsApp groups or whatever. But if you have it in the game, it's so focused on the game. I think that's that helps them just as much as it would help us. As if you run a community, it's bringing people together, getting them into servers and stuff like that. That's something that you really want as a community. And so that helps DICE as well if you do that. And but yeah, it's obviously something they would have to invest in, and I don't know if they're willing to invest in that. But yeah, other things, I would like them to see them support like these communities outside of the game, like in like Facebook groups, for example, but other of smaller communities, support them a little bit more, like in the form like you have the EA Creator Network, pull those people in and see what they want to do, what they need, and get their feedback. And that's valuable for them just as much as a content creator, because all due respect to all the content creators out there, they have their own communities, but many of them do that because for some it's a living, but there is so much for a content creator, so much focus on viewer retention. So they're highly invested in in the message that they get across to their supporters, and that doesn't necessarily have to be their own message, right? There's a risk for them if they speak their mind. There's a risk that they lose followers, and if you're running a community, that's completely different. There's a lot, you can be a lot more open and honest towards what your thoughts are and your wishes are, and that, again, it's not against content creators. I think they do a great job, and they bring great contribution to the getting the game out there, letting people getting to know the game and stuff like that. I think that's really important.
Also, I mean, everything is connected, right? Well, without content creators, there's no reaching out and building up the community. The make the game bigger. I mean, everything is kind of connected, and we need content creators to reach out to a new player base, right? And
yeah, but also, the thing is that content creators are getting more tools within their own platforms like Twitch and whatever, and many of them use Discord nowadays. So they're interacting more with their own community. So they are community leaders. I hate that word, but they have a big community that people that are interested in what they have to say and what they're doing. And so
do you think they should be more aware of that?
Yes, but I think the point is that they will eventually struggle with the same things that we struggled with when I was doing like those Facebook groups, but also like my own Friday Night Battlefield community, so to say. You start struggling with how do you deal with those people in your community, because a lot of you're really exposed as a content creator, but also like if you're running a community, you really expose yourself to all kinds of things, good things and bad things, and you have to be prepared to deal with that. And so content creators, they already have a little bit thick skin, because obviously they have a lot of shitty comments all the time, which they learn how to deal with that. But the more you start building a community as a content creator, the more you have to interact with them, and the more you expose yourself to the good and the bad things of talking to people. Yeah, and that's that's the thing I struggle with the most when especially during Friday Night Battlefield at one point. That was the most difficult thing for me, and that's also why I just quit.
Let's go back to this. It's actually a good point that you brought it up, because we weren't done yet when we switched the topic, actually. I'm
making the bridges to the
Thank
topics.
you. I was waiting for that. We're throwing the ball. So you said to me, we had a little pre-talk, and you said to me like there were happening a couple of incidences, right, before you actually quit, and because it basically built up, and then it became too much mentally to take all the harassment and toxicity in. Can you I don't know how far you want to go in there, but can you maybe give us an example about the last incident that happened that actually made you quit everything?
Yeah, well, I don't want to go into details so much, but it's, the point
just
is that
breakdown.
Yeah, but the point is that at one point, if you're a content creator or run communities, and you're forward facing, you're really present, on social media or whatever. Like I said, you expose yourself, and at least I experienced that. I got involved in so many things. People drag me into things, asking for my opinion or asking to mediate in in conflicts or stuff like that, or people, they wanted me to validate their opinion, or I don't know, crazy things.
They did try to sabotage the F&B event, right? Multiple times,
that also happened. If you're running an event with a reward, some people just like to sabotage that happened as well. And all those things happen. And with Friday Night Battlefield, because we had assignments, and there were people already got the dog tag, and so they got bored, and they really like to ruin the fun for other people. Yeah, that happened a lot, and we had to deal with that and make sure that people don't don't really notice that and just kind of have some fun. And so I focused so much on making sure that everyone had a fair chance of winning a dog tag. You can, when you start playing the event, at a certain time, you don't take too much risk. There's an assignment, people have to kill you in a certain way. And as time goes along, you, depending on how many people already completed assignment, you either take more risks or less risks, to make sure that everyone, that you have like 10 winners or something like that. But if at the same time there's people trying to fuck things up for you and for other players, that is so.
Why didn't you just kick
annoying.
those people? I was wondering, like, why didn't you just kick them?
No,
on Battlefield 5 you couldn't, right?
No, it wasn't Battlefield 1, but technically, you're at least that's how I view it. I was representing EA in that sense.
And you can't kick them.
You can't do things like that. You really have to be the nice guy. You can't really have people saying,
because then it turns out
going
into
on.
Something
Got kicked out of the Friday Night Battlefield server. What the hell's going on, EA? And then I would get an angry project leader from EA. Was what the hell did you do this time, right? So you have to be careful with that.
But when this particular incident happened, this fallout on social media, a group of people actually started harassing you, like they tried to log in, right? What did they do? Like the steps? Can we talk about this? What they did?
Look. Like I said, you get involved in a lot of things. People drag you into discussions and stuff like that. But also, you see things happening and you respond to that as well, right? So you try to stay out of it as much as you can, because you already get dragged into so many things. But if you get accused of something, if someone else in your team gets accused of something, you won't speak out. Or if someone does something that you really think, this is really not okay, doing this within the community, you speak out about that. And sometimes that works out fine, and you get a lot of support for that. And sometimes it doesn't. And if that happens a couple of times, at some point, people get angry, they get annoyed, and they try to drag you through the dirt, getting send you messages and stuff like that. But at one point it got so bad, I got death threats and threats to my family. I got like people trying to log into stuff with my email, and I got like notifications that my account that I was trying to log in somewhere unsuccessfully. I got subscribe to all kinds of shit, and a lot of harassment. And at some point I was like, start wondering, is this all worth it? Do I really want to do this and have to deal with that? And is that worth the things I get out of it? And at that time, I was also going through a burnout. So at that point, I was, okay, this is enough for me. I'm going to quit. So, and, coincidentally, I was, I had a burnout. I was not enjoying Battlefield 5. There were a couple of incidents that really got out of hand. And at that point, I was just, fuck it. I'm never going to do this ever again. And that's that's why
Are there any consequences for those kind of people? Is there anything you can do, actually? I mean,
you can report them, if you know who it is, and if you can prove it, you can report them to Twitter or whatever. But a lot of that stuff just happened anonymously. So yeah, you don't really know who's behind
I just
it.
realized there's a very thin line, or like, I mean, there are actually jobs you can get at EA Dice directly where you have the position of doing moderation, right, for them. And I think when you're doing that, you get a fake account as a moderator, right? So they are kind of in a more safer position that people can't track them, but you are not in that position.
No, but it's,
You're
that's the
volunteering to
same as
do
a
it,
content
right?
create. Yeah, but
Yeah, it's the same as a
that's the
content creator.
forums. But when I was in the Facebook groups, stuff like that happened just as much, right? But it wasn't that bad on Facebook as it was on Twitter. But that's what I mean with your forward facing, right? Your face, your name, your person, and that's for content creators. That's just as much, right? They're exposed, and if you do things like this, you're also exposed. You're exposed with what you're doing right now, and what you're doing. There is not, you probably experience it just as much as well. You probably experience some bad things as well, but yeah, but it's also depends on how you maneuver yourself into problems. And I have the probably I'm really good at maneuvering myself into problem situations. So
Do you
yeah.
think it's something in life that is following you, like something you learn from this? I mean, also, I mean, it's a lot of shit, but is there anything you think you learn from this?
No, because that's just, well, not for me. It's just the person I am. I always want to help people. I want to be, support people, and I want to call out people if I think what they're doing is wrong, and that backfires quite often, and so it's not beneficial to be a nice person. I think it's not on social media nowadays. That doesn't benefit anyone. A nice person in the sense of trying to help people and to call out people if they do something that isn't a good thing, right? That you can also be a friendly person by just be always positive, and also always be hi everyone, and I love you, and everything is great, and that's I think that's like euphoric and nice. But
we are doing something nice now. Vulpix, you started
yeah.
it. I guess. Listen, I want you all in chat to say, what do you want to thank him for? Guys, just start. Thank you for Sawtooth. Thank you for XYZ. I want to, guys, start with that. I want to see what you're thanking him for, and we keep talking. Let's see what they come up with.
I'm to be honest, I'm not really susceptible to that, and yeah, no, but that's it's not.
But it's important. Yeah. People say it not often enough, I feel.
I know, but that's, I think that's it's probably like maybe an autistic trait, I don't know, but good things don't come in as powerful as bad things do, right? So Travis, bad things really, really hurt, and good things don't really make you feel better, right? So it doesn't work with me, unfortunately. But that's that's why at one point, if enough bad things happen, at one point you just say, okay, it's enough for me. And some people are really good at dealing with that, and just laying it aside and thinking, no, it's I don't care what that person says. I can't do that. So that's my weakness.
By the way, I mean, when you went through this burnout, and you said it was not all related to what happened in this incident, it was also work related because you just put probably too much on yourself. And I think something like a burnout these days happens to a lot of us, right? We all going through some stress, and we don't know when it is actually enough. When did you actually cut the line? When was it enough? And if you look in retrospective, what I want to know is, can you give us like any tip whatsoever, like how can we look inside of us so we actually don't experience maybe even this burnout? Like what would you have done differently maybe to save yourself from that experience?
Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed what I did. That's the biggest problem, because you're enjoying what you're doing. You take the bad things, you just take them for granted, and think, okay, that's just part of it. But at some point, it starts nagging on you, and but at that point you're basically already too far, and so it's really difficult to learn from it. It's I think the most important thing is that you learn to to recognize when things are really affecting you, and know your limits, and when you take a step back, take a good step back and not just a small step back, because that small step's not going to help you. You really need to take a big step back and give it time, because and just don't be afraid to talk about it with people and seek help, because it's no shame in having to deal with mental issues, and just go to your doctor, or go to your GP and ask, tell them what you're dealing with, and see if you can get some help. And usually that's even if you think I don't need it, do it, and if let the doctor decide if you need it or not, because it's I think you can't decide for yourself. The moment that you think I need help, you're way beyond. Then you already needed help like months ago, if you think you need help.
Yeah, that's a good point. How important is it? And I feel, especially us, as content creators, as gamers, as being active in the Twitter community or other social media platforms. That was the word. How important is it to take a break actually from social media?
Oh, really important. I did that, I don't know, a year ago, something like that, 6 months ago. I took a long break, and that really helped me. That was really a good thing, just to take a break. Remove all the social media apps from your phone or your tablet or whatever, and just if you want to look at it, just make it as difficult as possible to log into your social media accounts, and just really take a break. And I think that really helps you, to be honest. And
I had that actually quite when Corona hit, and I don't know why, but it was so smart, and I'm not that smart, but I actually took a break from social media right when Corona hit, and I even took a break from news. I didn't watch any Corona news, nothing, because I knew the second that it happens, it would make me crazy. So I just did all, I had to do, the lockdown, stay safe, wear the mask, everything, but I didn't watch any news whatsoever, or the statistics were going up. And I think it was like, when I look back now, it was the smartest thing I could have done. Like when I came back then on social media, I felt much stronger and much relaxeder, in a way. And then I heard the news actually, like they shut down the servers for Battlefield 5. I didn't see anything of that. Like this was the time when I took a break, and so much happened, and I was like, damn, how much toxicity must have happened when they got the news that they shut down Battlefield, basically, or not shut down Battlefield, like they didn't support Battlefield anymore. How do you say it properly?
They cut support for
Battlefield
right? 5. Yeah.
So, and I thought, damn, I'm so happy I didn't see any of this in my news feed.
Yeah. Well, to be
So
honest, at that point, I was ready. I already took a step back and was focusing on other things. But
you probably were happy as well for that, then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, But yeah, I mean, in the end, it's look, I don't want to judge anything of that. I'm just saying I'm happy I didn't see that at that point. I wasn't, on social
Yeah.
media whatsoever, and I took a break from everything. That was a good way to get my energy back because I had a burnout that at that point as well. So and let's get back to that.
Yeah,
Of
but
Can you please quick, because we are there, can you please say, like, what did you learn from all of this experience? What did you learn of being a
oh,
community leader?
I
Like, what
don't
did you do different, maybe?
know. The point is, I'm really good at giving other people advice, but I don't take my own advice. So I just make the same mistakes all over again, and yeah, that's yeah, that's just who I am. Yeah, so but yeah, one thing I do know is, like I said, I'm never going to do anything related to community stuff, because that I don't want to put myself in that position anymore, just simply because that stuff happened and I don't want to go through that again. And that's the only reason for me. I just want to do my own thing. I want to play the game and enjoy myself, talk to people and express my thoughts. But sometimes I really regret when I talk about something. Oh God, here we go again. All these debates about my opinion, and God, people, I just want to say what I think about it. I'm not really looking for debates, right? But that just comes with it. Comes with the territory when you're
Did
on
you ever
social
actively
media.
try to profile yourself on social media, Mia?
Sorry?
Did you
Did I
ever
what?
think about profiling yourself on social media, like building up a profile? Like, did you ever think about it, like consciously? Like, who's thought to
No.
75?
No. No, in that sense, I'm just me, really. It's
Mhm.
just who I am. Yeah. No, I'm not. Um, no, and I think people who have been following me for a bit longer know that I tend to change things that I like and things that I talk about, and also change my point of view. So I'm not that consistent in that sense, but no, I'm not this like online persona that I'm not in real life. No, it's really me.
Well, I mean, that's a good thing, right? I mean, it's also easier, just being you, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But that's one thing, right? Because when I was doing moderator on the forums, and when I was doing Friday Night Battlefield, but also when I was doing Facebook groups, I do take on this position of I feel I have a certain responsibility, and there's things that I can't say or can't do or shouldn't do, and that I take very seriously. So I
Yeah.
think after I quit all those things, I felt I could say and do more than I wanted to before, or than I could do before.
Did you?
Because I when I was more active in with Friday Night Battlefield, like I said, there's a lot of things I can't do.
Mhm.
I feel I can't do. You have to be like neutral, and you have to be careful that you don't get like
Mhm.
get into center of bad things or whatever,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
that's something I was always very cautious of. And when I stopped doing that and I didn't feel that responsibility anymore, I felt I don't have to tiptoe and be careful with what I do and what I say. And I think a lot of people got a bit annoyed about things, what I talked about or what I thought about certain things. And yeah, but yeah, okay, that's life, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have actually some great questions here from Bloody. Wait, I need to check the.
And
Bloody here in the chat. He gave us some great questions up front, because I always ask my people, you know, in the Discord as well, like, do you have questions for the guests? Just, you know, send me a DM, and Bloody was so kind and he sent me some great questions. So I want to get to this as well. He asked,
does it involve sliding?
No.
Oh,
You
okay.
wanna do another bet?
No,
Who, me?
no, let's
Yes,
go.
you.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
What? And I really love this question. What's the most wholesome thing you have seen on the Battlefield community? I think we probably meant about within the Battlefield community. Tell me some
Most
positive
wholesome?
things. Yeah, tell me some positive things about it.
You know, the other day it was a couple of weeks ago, I think, it was about, you know, the best community in the world. You know, that's something that the Battlefield community has appropriated, that term, best community in the world. But, you know, my opinion is that all communities are just as good and just as bad, to be honest. I've been in several communities for different games and they're all the same. But, you know, when a community does become the best community in the world is when they really step up and, you know, are there for people who really need them. You know, people who are in trouble or are in need or whatever. And I've seen some really good examples of that. And I don't know, there's several examples, you know, over the years that, you know, where people died or people are sick or people. I remember when, you know, Beardy, Rory, when he was, where was he, in Thailand or where was he? And he had that accident. And, you know, they were in hospital and there were, yeah, a lot of really bad situation. And, you know, everyone came together and supported him. And, you know, I think those
I didn't
are
even
the
see
great.
that. I didn't
Oh
even see
yeah,
that.
but you know that those are the, you know, the really great things that, you know, can happen in a community.
By the way, guys, if you see something like this, you know, and where we can get the community support together for stuff like this, tag Game as We Care on Twitter. This is what we are there for, you know, to support each other. If you see somebody who just needs a hug, who needs some help, you know, or where we can spread some positivity, you know, just tag us, because we, like I said, we don't see everything. How could we, you know? And I would love to see stuff like this. Yeah, just a quick.
Yeah, but that happened, like, I don't know. Kelly knows. I don't know when that happened. It's been a long time ago. I think that's maybe.
This was a few years ago. Okay, I thought this
I
just
don't know,
recently.
maybe 1.5 years ago. I can't remember exactly.
Okay.
But it's been a while.
Okay.
But yeah, but yeah, that's. I think that's one of the good things, you know, in the Battlefield community, that there is a lot of, well, friendships. I think it's really hard to call it a real friendship, but, you know, I know so many people through Battlefield, so many more than I know in real life, and I think that's really awesome. You know, that you get to learn to know so many people, and you get to talk to people and, you know, play games with them, and I think that's great. I think that's one of the best things of, you know, gaming.
Yeah,
getting
it is.
involved in communities. I think that's. What other questions does?
Yes, let's get to the next one.
Several.
Well, I think this one we already got more or less. It's how can Battlefield 2042 be improved after launch, with what you have seen so far, and what do you expect from it? I think we had that. Well, tell me just quick, maybe 3 things.
Oh, but, you know, in general, I think, you know, this game is going to be really important for Battlefield franchise in general. So there's a lot of things riding on it. So they really have to come through. But, you know, obviously the awesome issues, you know, the whole specialist thing, it's really a big thing amongst a lot of people. But yeah, they still have really their work cut out for them. So we're all like looking forward to launch, but there is going to be a lot of things happening after launch that will, like you said, a lot of things will go wrong, for sure. But they will have to tweak a lot of things, and there's going to be it's not it's not like we can just be relieved when the game launches, because there's going to be a lot of things happening after that, for sure. So yeah, but I think I'm trying to be positive about it. There's a lot of things that I like, but yeah, we'll see.
All right, and here's another one, and this is also a little bit complicated. I think we have to think about that, but it's a complex, interesting question. How can we all, different communities, casual platoons, competitive, virtual photographers, montage, the Easter eggs, YouTube creators, Twitch streamers, coexist and have fun in a positive way together?
Well,
yeah, right. I read this and I was like, well, give me a day. I need to think about that.
Yeah, but I think that's what I meant with if you have this this community hub where people, even casual players who just boot the game and don't really know what's going on social media, but there's like this really connected social platform that's really connected to the game, which you can't really miss. That would be, I think that would be great, because then you would have this platform where everyone, whatever you do, whatever you like within the game or the community, brings you together. And I think that would be the best thing they could do. But at the same time, I don't know if that's something that EA is interested in, because it's typically something that decision that EA would have to make, I think. And I don't know if that's interesting for them. They're a publicly traded company, and they have to make money for their investors, so that's their primary focus. Whatever slogan they have about it's all for the gamers or whatever, doesn't really matter. It's all about earning money in the end. So
I mean, some voices are there who say like, why don't you listen to the community now, stuff like this. How much can you explain this? Can you give us, like, from your experience, maybe a picture, like how does this work? Like, do they read all the comments, basically, all the feedback? How do they work with the feedback? What gets included? What gets more weight? Which opinion has more weight, basically? How does this work?
I don't know about everything in that sense, but
my
experience. Yeah, sorry. When I was like I said, when I was doing the forum, we made like reports every week about whatever we could find on the forum. Sometimes they would ask, the EA would ask us, to find some feedback on certain topics, but usually we just try to see, okay, what's going on, what are the issues and stuff like that. And those were like general people, just anonymous people who were on the forum posting things. So those weren't the Westies, the Jack Frags or whatever. Those were regular players, and we collected that feedback and that went to the studio. But and for DICE, it's important that they collect feedback and information from as big a group as possible. And obviously, large content creators have large following, and those content creators, they stand for something. They have a certain opinion or a certain point of view, and their followers tend to, like that. And so a lot of, they speak for a fairly large part of the community, those content creators. You can like it or not, but there's a lot of people supporting them, so they are a voice for those people. But same thing can be said for people that run like a Discord or that run a Facebook group or whatever. Our Facebook group for Battlefield was like 100,000 people. You're a voice for 100,000 people. maybe not as specific as a content creator, but
20,000 inactive.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But there's like a large group of people that you can represent, and so it makes sense that they draw from that, because it covers a large group of people. So you can't expect them to read every single tweet that's out there and do something with it. They do, they're very active on social media, and they do look at a lot of stuff. And they, I remember Jeff in our Facebook group, he was always talking to people. So they do gather a lot of stuff from that. So I think it's wrong to say that they listen to the big game changers only. That's not true. That's definitely not true. But they should be maybe a bit more transparent about that, because people keep saying you're only listening to those game changers, but you're not listening to what I'm saying. But they could do more with that. I think they could be more open and more transparent about that.
Yeah, definitely.
That would help for people, I think.
Damn it.
What's next? Next question.
I think actually the questions, I think these questions here are done. Do you guys have in the chat? Guys, this is so weird. I think there was no active question actually in the chat. Do you guys have any questions here in the chat for Sawtooth? Then now is the time. We are counting down from 6, because we have only 6 days, right? 6 days, right? 6 days?
Yeah, 5 if you don't count today.
All right.
5 or 4. I don't even know anymore.
Okay.
After 150 countdown tweets, I don't even know if it's 4 or 5 days.
5. Oh God, it's 5.
Okay, 5.
Depends. If you have a shitty internet, it's probably 6 again, because you need to download the patch.
Yeah. Oh, Fergan's asking, how am I doing now? Are you back on your feet and everything?
Yes, that's a good question.
Well, that's
thank you for
a bit of a tricky question, because my burnout happened in December 2019. No, sorry, 2018, and I was went through it through the whole 2019, and I was basically back to work on February 2020, and March Corona hit. And a lot of stuff happened in the meantime. And in June this year, I had like a relapse, so I called in sick again. And now I'm almost close to back to full-time working again, but still not 100% okay. So yeah, I after my initial burnout, I had a relapse after about a year, and a year and a half. But I'm doing better now. But it's something that especially in these days, with all the stuff happening with COVID, it's even more important to watch out for your mental health now more than ever. And if you need help, you really need to go for it, because I think it's not worth.
I feel it really got worse, right? Like for many people, mental health situation is got.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I think it's I think people if it never happened to you, people underestimate how important it is to not letting it get that far, because it takes a really, really long time to get better. If I was like home for a year, and not full time, but at least half a year I didn't work at all, and after that started building up slowly for at least half a year. But then it still takes like a year or maybe 2 years to get back to normal. So if you have like
a question, but what is the best thing your family did to support you during this time?
just accepting that you can't do certain things, and they were really supportive in that sense. But yeah, it's just as difficult for them as it was for me, obviously, because you aren't the same person at that time. Yeah, that's it's really rough going through that.
Yeah, it's a process. We had another great question here in chat from Valpex, and question was, what did you do when you didn't do Battlefield stuff anymore? Like, did you then invest your time with some other hobbies like reading, cross stitch? Yes.
To be honest, I was really heavily invested in gaming, and so it was like my passion. That was all I was doing, and so it was really difficult to not do that. And so at one point I just started spending more time just watching movies and TV shows and stuff like that. I really enjoy that, but it's hard to take that step back because gaming is fun and it's good. It helps you mentally, I think. It's also a bit of escapism from real life. But if you're in a bad mental state, it can also be a bad thing to be gaming.
Definitely.
So you have to be cautious, because it's not always relaxing. You think it's relaxing, you think it keeps your mind off of things, but at the same time it costs a lot of energy.
Adrenaline.
So that was one of the mistakes I made, that I was when I was recovering from my burnout, I spent too much time gaming, and I should have done that less. So when I did that less, it helped me, or at least when I started playing different games that were less intense, right? So that's one thing that you have to be careful with.
Are you coming up with all these great questions? I actually completely forgot about this because we talked about this actually before the podcast, right? So is there a right time to tell someone they are autistic? Did you understand struggles then from your past also? I mean, I think we have to ask a little bit differently because I know his story. So as I understood, you didn't know you were autistic. No. And your family didn't know either. Can you tell us, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but can you tell us basically how you found out that you actually are autistic?
So when I was at home with the burnout, obviously you go to your doctor first, and I talked about how we're going to deal with this, and they send you to a psychologist, and that psychologist found out that there was more going on than that. I was just a little bit stressed. There was a lot more going on, so she sent me to this like specialized psychologist, and he didn't really take long to figure out I was high functioning or suffering from high functioning autism. And when we started talking about that, a lot of puzzle pieces fell into place, and a lot of stuff from when I was like really young, when I was like 5 years old, stuff like that. But also a lot of things I struggle with now still. So a lot of stuff just puzzle pieces fell into place because when you don't know, you're just struggling with a lot of things. Especially if you're high functioning, you're struggling with things internally and not really talking about it, and people don't notice. And that costs so much energy and causes so much confusion, and you blame yourself for a lot of things. So I'd say the earlier you can talk to someone about that is the better, because I know about your son, Kelly, but I think I think Kobe is is maybe a little bit too young to understand it yet, but I think they need to be aware that that the things that they experience, that those aren't not necessarily something that other people are like, and other people won't understand the things that you do or that you don't want to do. So they have to understand that that's okay. And that's really tough. That's something that you need to learn. And the sooner you can learn that, the better you can live your life. I think if I would have known when I was younger, I wouldn't have struggled with a lot of things. I think I would have been a different person for sure.
I'm sorry. I hope I don't ask again. And you said it before, but if you look back now, did you think there was a certain point that you could have known? Because you said it now, it would have been easier. Like if you would have looked for?
Well, I could have been diagnosed when I was young, but when I'm 46, so when I was like 12, autism wasn't really that well known as it is today.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't as accepted as it is today.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to say, but I think my wife already knew for years that I'm probably autistic because she works with people with autism and handicap, with disabilities. So she was aware of it, but she didn't. It was never a situation where we had go to a doctor and see if you're autistic. That never happened. It was just.
I mean, it's also very difficult. How do you say that to your spouse? I mean.
Yeah, but that's the whole point, right? So it's about being open about these things. And I think the thing that I have struggled with in the past the most is that people just don't understand what it is to be autistic and how to deal with people that are autistic. And I think that's one of the biggest things I still struggle with, because my daughter has really hard time with dealing with me, because I'm a really difficult person for her to deal with. And we just had an incident right before the stream, and it's really hard for me to to talk about it with her, and because there's a lot of things I just don't want to do, and I can't explain why I don't want to do that, because it's just there's like this brake on you that you can't do it. Your mind won't let you, and there is no reason for it. There's no reasoning. There's nothing logical about it. It's just it is what it is. You can't change it.
So what can you do? You can, as somebody who's now communicating with you, I could just accept the situation, or is there a way I could help you with, actually?
Well, we're not really dealing with any, there's no issues for me doing this, right? So I'm not, for autism, I'm really high functioning and social, and communication. That's really no problem for me. But there's a lot of things that are really difficult for me, and those things you don't necessarily talk about it. You either avoid them, or you try to deal with them when they occur. And when you try to deal with them when they occur, it's you tend to mask it, right? You try to act normal. You try to act as if there is no problem, but there is a problem. You're struggling, and
I always do that.
And at some point, then you can't do it anymore, and then things start to bubble up, and people can see that there's something going on. But you don't talk about it. But if people know you're autistic and there's certain things that you have difficulty with or you can't do, or they can accept that when you say no, it's no. I can't do this right now. They don't start questioning why is that. It's just okay. This is part of who you are, and it's if you say you can't do this, okay, then we'll try to find something else or whatever, right? So we had this thing, like a practical example. We had this thing. There was like a company party, a couple of weeks ago, and my boss was saying, "You really have to come. They expect everyone to come." I said, "No, I don't want to come." And said, "No, yeah, you have to come." I said, "No, I can't deal with that. It's really hard for me." There were several reasons, because it was like far away. and there was my wife was sick at the time, and there's a lot of I didn't know what we were going to do, and there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of things I find really hard. So I say, I don't want to do it, and I don't want to get into a discussion with that person about
Why you
I
don't
don't
want to
want
do
to
it?
do it. When I say this is really hard for me because of my autism, that should be the end of the conversation.
Yeah, it's like 100%. It's like a no-go. I can't accept it.
And often it isn't the end of the conversation. And that's what
does he know?
What yeah, he knows, and the conversation didn't really take that long, but that's one of the things that's really hard if you have like high functioning autism, that people know how to deal with, have accept it, and know that there's limitations. And when I say I can't do it, that's
by the way, guys, he has 2 degrees. You have 2 degrees in what again?
Yeah, I have a degree in electronics engineering and a master's degree in artificial intelligence.
How did you get through your university? Like you have so many steps there in the way where you have to do things. Like that must be so hard for you, where you had to push yourself through the limits,
first
right?
degree, I did that just go to school and wasn't working at the time. My second degree I did when I was working full time, and I did that like next to my job.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, but that's what I like to learn. I like to develop myself, but and it wasn't that hard in that sense. But yeah.
No, great. No, it's yeah. I'm not saying you couldn't have a degree. That's not the point. My point was really like that
in the sense of with autism, it doesn't really.
That you
there's no
that's not what I meant. I really wanted to say like that you did so much in the same time. You did the full-time job, you got the degree on the other hand, and it's and you said like you have sometimes problems just to go through. I have to do this, or have to be there, I have to go there, and you pushed through basically, even though you didn't know you had an issue with it.
Yeah.
So I just can imagine that was a lot of pressure on you. That's all I'm saying. Maybe back, there was another question in chat, Craig. But I'm not sure if we had this already actually again, but maybe we can make it quick. Ayano says, Sawtooth, what do you think DICE can do to support platoons communities in 2042?
Support, but have platoon functionality to begin with, and I think that's step one. But like I said, I think we had platoon support before, but it was like lackluster. There was so many things missing. Well, when we were in the the battle log stage, there was so many things that were just amazing for platoons. The whole you had the whole was it the message board, and you had your own page and stuff like that. I think that was just great. But like I said, I think the bare minimum is that there is a platoon functionality, and that you can you can see the people that are in your platoon and see where they're playing, and you can join them. It's not just your friends, but as a whole platoon, but also you can start servers as a platoon in Portal and stuff like that. I think that's something that's really important. I think that's definitely something they need to invest in.
Yes, bring back battle log. All problems solved.
Well,
I wouldn't say
don't see that happening, to be honest, but that would be ideal.
Well, we have to see. I mean, there's a lot of things we don't know yet. I think I mean it's not that we are good at, but we need to be a little bit more patient, guys. It's only 5 more days, and then another few more weeks probably, and they'll give us more information.
Yeah, if they're going to do it like they did with Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, that they're bringing these features later on. Okay, if that's what they're going to do, that's fine. But I just wish that they were talk about their plans and not just now it's really focusing on release, and I understand that, but I want to know what's going on after release, right? What can we look forward to in the next year? And they're not saying anything about that at all. And I think
that's a little frustrating, right? That you don't know what's that there's no news about what's going on the next year. That's true. Well, we kind of are about to hit the end here, guys. We have the 2-hour mark, but I would say if anyone has a last question in chat, you can bring it out. And
pressing questions, you can always just send me a message, and we'll be happy to answer your questions.
Bloody, can you shoot, or any of the mods here, can you shoot Sawtooth's Twitter link in here again? That would be amazing. And Sawtooth, did I miss anything? Did we miss anything? Was there any question or anything you like to address to anything at all?
I think we covered it pretty well. I think we covered it pretty well. You know that the thing is, the thing I think what I really find important is, what I really hope, but what we've seen, especially during Battlefield 5, was that there was a lot of, tension between, within the community, but between groups of people. And I hope that with Battlefield 2042 we can just get back to a state where we can have fun again, and be friends and enjoy ourselves, and and have friendly competition, and
sometimes I have a question to you all. Could it be that we sometimes forget that gaming is about fun? Just enjoy, play the game, and have fun. I feel we are so looking for flaws in a game sometimes that we forget it's all about having some laughs with our friends. I'm just saying, think about that.
But I think it's okay to talk about things that bother you or that you're wondering about or whatever, and think as long as if it's that what you're doing. I always see people saying, stop complaining. Talking about things that worry you isn't complaining, right? It's just trying to express your concerns or your thoughts about things, and that's not necessarily complaining. And think that should be I always see this happening on Twitter, that people are complaining about this, complaining about that. No, they're talking about the things that they're worried about, the things they're concerned about. And obviously there's always people that that actually complain, that have no it's just everything is shit, and they have no constructive opinion about the issue. But you can just avoid that and focus on the things that people are genuinely concerned about, and they can actually explain why they're concerned about it. Right? That's a whole different situation than someone saying it's shit. So.